Hello, and welcome to Talk Relationship to Me, the show that explores some of the most important relationship topics. I'm Dr. Alana Hoffman. As a clinical psychologist, I focus on all things relationships, from dating to sex to long-term relationships to divorce. I cover it all. I use my professional lens as a psychologist as well as lived experience to cover these topics. Do you need to talk relationships? You're in the right place. On today's episode, I am joined by fellow therapist Kate Stevens, and we are here to talk about the epic Summer House reunion, part 1. And if you have listened to some of my episodes about Summer House, you know that I have some important things to say about it, but I'm so excited to be joined by a fellow therapist and a fellow Summer House enthusiast to discuss this epic episode and the whole epic season. And we both have copious notes, so if you are listening, get comfortable.
Kate, I'm so excited to have you. This is going to be really fun.
I knew you were a reality TV enthusiast too, because I saw a post. The reason why we connected is because I saw a post that you wrote about the secret lives of Mormon wives, and you advertised it on a therapist group. And so that is how we connected around our love of reality TV through our personal and therapist lens. So this was going to be a great conversation, and we were just texting about it. So how many times have you watched it? 3 times? 4 times. Amazing. I'm at 3, yeah. So we should be, hopefully we don't miss anything.
I know. But it also then is like, there's so much content, and because we've watched it so many times, it's going to be really hard to pick out like what's important, because there's so much stuff that happened.
I know. There's so much. And there's, what has come out, I mean, just things other people are saying about everything. And it's just, I know. Well, let's jump in. Okay. So I guess we should just start on the beginning of the episode, which I know. I know.
I literally had full body chills watching the beginning of this episode.
Incredible. I mean, it was just, I said this to Andrew at the last, like when we covered the finale, and I said, like, this is the best episode of reality TV I've ever seen. And I'm like, I think I've said this before, but like, this was the best episode of reality TV that I've ever witnessed. I mean, it just is, and I say this all the time, and I will continue to say it for anybody who doubts the realness, the real in reality TV. This is just proof positive. Like, this is real shit. This is people's lives. This is like the stuff, and so it was amazing. So basically, they start with, the cast members coming in and getting ready for the episode. I feel like they recently started to do this more with the reunions, where they did like more of like the behind the scenes, like getting ready.
Well, you're even skipping when they, like the very, very beginning of the episode, where Lindsay and Kyle are doing their confessionals for In the City.
Oh, I know. Oh.
And that's when it broke.
Right. Oh, right. They were doing confessionals for In the City. That's right.
Yes. And then we get the beginning of the reunion, which also had to. So it's like 15 minutes before we even got to the reunion.
Right.
Crazy.
So, okay. So, right. So they opened, now you've been watching it 3 times. They sort of like pieced it together. So basically we left off the finale with the end of the summer and Kyle and Amanda being like, we're going to take a break. Amanda being like, I'm going to go back to the hotel. And then we immediately started the premiere of In the City, which is a whole other episode. But so basically for those confessionals, they took some of those confessionals and they added it into the premiere of the reunion, where they are finding out in real time about this quote unquote scandal, Scamanda, whatever is happening between West and Amanda. They're finding out in real time, and they have this like millennial moment of speakerphones and putting the phones together, and it is the best scene I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And I felt like, and look, maybe I'm like totally misreading it, but I felt like there was this level of authenticity there of like, this wasn't staged. Now, do I think that Kyle knew the statement was out and was like, I'm going to wait and have Lindsay read it to me on camera? Yes, I do. And that's okay.
Yes.
But like, you could tell from like the phone calls and patching people in, like, if that were staged, they wouldn't have done that, because production would have had them call like one-on-one and have FaceTime, because that's how they roll.
Totally.
So you could tell that this was like the statement dropped and everyone is talking. Yeah. And it's really, I guess we're sort of getting into it with this, but to me, what makes this whole thing really stand out is this show is about an actual group of
Yes.
friends. And in so many of these other shows, thinking about Vanderpump Rules when Scandival happened a few years ago, that was like a group of friends ish, but without the show, they're not really
Totally.
friends. And so their uproar about it was more about, oh my God, you're ruining the show for me.
Uh-huh.
Whereas in this situation, you could tell right off the bat with these confessional, like whatever moments, this is a real group of friends that is being rocked by
Yes.
two people within the friend group hooking up.
Yes. Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, it was yeah, I always say this about the show too, compared to like The Housewives, where they're like maybe they know each other, maybe they don't, maybe some know each other and like, hey, come to this dinner and we'll film a scene. Like this is a real group of friends, many of whom have been on the show for the whole time. And it is really rock yeah, I mean it just really rocks them. So basically like Lindsay is doing this confessional and she doesn't know, and so Kyle comes in and he's like, hey, check your phone, like in a chill way, like you should probably check your phone. And we see the moment where Lindsay sees the news and it is just it's wild, it's beyond. And then they call and they all call in together, and so there's five of them like all talking about it on the phone. Did you know? What's your timeline? What have you heard? Have you talked to Amanda and Wes, right? And Kyle says he talked to Amanda. And yeah, it's just everybody is just like, what is going on here? What is happening?
It's really crazy. And I like part of why I've never thought that Jesse Solomon really knew much about what was going on. I don't really know why. I didn't have evidence. I think maybe it was just like I wanted that to be true.
Yeah,
But then when you hear him in this phone call and he's like, "Bro, like I didn't know." And then he ends up on the Peacock version of of the episode pulling out his like, "I have a timeline for you." And to me I'm like, "Okay, I really think that like he suspected it."
yeah,
But he asked both of them, he said, and they both denied it to
they
him.
both
And
just
so
lied.
this this beginning section like sets the scene for so many of the dynamics in this thing where it's not just about them hooking up, but it's like who knew and who knew when and how did they figure it out? And that's all being set up in this first like 5-minute blip.
Totally. And this is like also so often the like ripple effect of betrayal. You know, you just like really see it highlighted with all of this, like, you know, in my with my clients, with couples that I counsel through, you know, various types of infidelity. Like it's often like not the actual thing, but it's like the lying about it, the timeline, the like, oh, but you were here when you said you were here and you did this during our whatever, you know. And it's like the effects in the group, and so knew about this and didn't tell me. It's like the just the levels of betrayal around this whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. Like you're just really seeing it really play out and show up, and it is wild. It is wild time. So basically we're talking as if people listening know what we're talking about, because it's just we're not going to be able to really catch people up so much. And it's
Yeah.
just, you know, you got to catch
Yeah.
up. If you haven't, you go do
Yeah.
it, pause it and go
Go
do it and
watch
come
TV
back.
for a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Wait, so let me ask you, what do you think about Amanda and West's timeline? I know I'm jumping into
Yeah, no,
the
let's jump
reading a little
in.
bit, but like tell me what you think about their
I
timeline.
mean, I think, you know, well, this is okay. I will answer this. Andy asked Sierra like when she first started suspecting something, and Sierra says January 17th when you were at West's apartment. And that's what I think too. I mean, you know, people say something was happening over the summer. You know, there's all kinds of suspicions around that, as like we're watching, and like I think that there is obviously emotional things going on over the summer. Like they are obviously really close. Like they are, you know, I mean, it's hard to define like what exactly an emotional affair is, but they are certainly getting much more connected emotionally over the summer, as we see. And so like it depends on, you know, like how you kind of define that. But I think probably it at least like something happened, something physical happened on January 17th. I think. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think emotional stuff happened last
Yeah.
summer because when you watch back, and now granted, I recognize that the editors recut episodes after this all
Yeah.
happened. So there's a lot of stuff the second half of the season that may have been on the cutting room floor, which I actually find super fascinating. as a Kyle Cook apologist. So for me, watching that latter half when there's all of these moments that honestly are kind of intimate
Yeah.
between West and
Yeah.
Amanda, these hugs, these whispers, the
Yeah.
touches, it's like, you can't tell me that there was absolutely nothing going
Yeah.
on then. And then as for the physical stuff, at the very least, January
Yeah.
17th. But I go back to at the Super Bowl, Brianna Chicken Fry told Dave Portnoy that Wes and Amanda had been hooking up at the Super
That's
Bowl. So that's like
right.
beginning of
That's
February.
right.
And I'm like, if they'd been hooking up for a few
Yeah.
weeks, would that have been said in that way? Which I'm getting super like nitpicky about, but it's like, if someone's been hooking up, I'm thinking that's like a longer term thing than it just started like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I feel like the physical stuff started like it at least in the fall, if not like November, December, but like Amanda will never admit that because of her timeline with Kyle and when they announced their separation and you see her like moving out in these in the city episodes. And so I think there's something, whether it's like financial or emotional or something on the line for Amanda regarding this
Yeah.
timeline, slash maybe it really is as bad as everybody suspects and they just can't like own that. So they're just making up a whole bunch of stuff.
Do you think she just, I mean, when they asked the timeline, when Andy asked, when did you first hook up? And Amanda said, after the statement, you don't, yeah. I think I saw,
Why would you release a statement
yeah,
if you haven't slept with
yeah,
him?
yeah, yeah. And I saw something that suggested that that she didn't specify which statement, and so that she was actually talking about the statement that Kyle and Amanda put out that they are divorcing, which happened January 19th, 2 days after this suspected first encounter or whatever. So that actually
Yes.
makes a whole lot more sense. And the way Amanda answered that, I mean, she's lying. I mean, she's just lying.
Yeah. Like she looks like she is like I don't want to say dissociating because it's a therapy podcast and I hate when people like misuse those terms, but she doesn't, she's like, staring deadpan,
Yeah.
like away from the camera. And Wes is about to say something and kind of looks at
Yeah.
her after she said it. And I'm like, that's not the answer he was about to give.
Totally. I feel like I rewatched that moment. Like I kept rewinding and rewatching that moment. And I couldn't tell, like he was saying like after the statement, like he mumbled something, he started to mumble something and then he just like, I mean, not to mention that he basically was silent the whole time. West.
I know. But I think that like, even this goes back to those pre-taping moments that they had after the confessionals and before the reunion starts, when they're just like zen in Westwards in their little dressing room. Literally, my sister was like, "Are they high?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I actually sort of took it as like being like almost ambivalent and feeling very self-righteous that they didn't do anything wrong. So they're like, "Oh, nothing to worry about because we didn't do anything wrong," which is why they're so like dead set on their dumb timeline. I don't know, maybe there's substance use. I don't know. But I just was like, but then you see West when he's not answering anything and it's like, talk. Say something.
He like cannot. Like he I mean, I guess he does cuz like he has a podcast which I've never heard, so I guess like he talks, right? Like but like he has never been able to like articulately express his feelings about like to the person.
Anything.
I mean, even from the beginning a few summers ago when we saw him and Sierra like start to like start something, like she was always like, I don't know how he feels, like, and you just never, or at least we didn't see. But then of course, she said later, like, he was never able to say like, I'm into you, I'm not into you. Like he cannot articulate or chooses not to articulate how he is feeling emotionally about something to the person that that he's talking to, or yeah, he just cannot, and he just cannot, he does not stand up for Amanda. They all call it out, and it's a preview that they're going to call it out again later. I mean, I don't know, he just sits there, and it's just so true. Like he really does not stand up for Amanda. I mean, yeah.
No. But you bring up like this really interesting point where I think for both of them and why they make like this like horribly good couple, is they both have this element of like victimhood to them.
Oh yeah.
Like Amanda is very in this mindset of well, things just
Things
happen
just
to me. You can't help who you
yeah,
like. It's like,
yeah,
ma'am, get out of
yeah,
here. You're like 30 something years old. Come on. You know, and West, to me, his silence, I read that very similarly of like, things just happen to me. I can't help it. Like, what is there to even say?
yeah,
And maybe that's just like me, like my interpretation of it. But there is just this element of like victimhood between the two of
yeah,
them
totally.
that's like they could say until they're blue in the face. They keep saying like, I'll take accountability. I'll take accountability.
No, they do
That
not.
doesn't mean that you're actually taking
Yeah,
accountability, you
yeah,
know, because you're
yeah.
not.
No, they did not. They were not proactive at any point during this. I mean, Andy even said, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm sort of he like cut off Sierra answering that question, but Andy asked her like if Amanda had come to you and said like this is happening, like I have feelings, like what would you have said? And she doesn't answer, like she gets cut off by someone, and so like we don't know. I mean, I sort of feel like they would have had some sort of conversation about it. I mean, obviously, like this never would have happened because like it didn't happen, and they are very much like, well, what can you do? You know, I mean, yeah. On the one hand, of course, you cannot help the feeling, but you can certainly help the action and the behavior, and those are two very different things. And Lindsay kind of comes out and she's like, we're in our 30s, like this is in high school, and it's like relationships obviously are complicated forever and always until the end of time. So whether you're 15 or 60, like it is very human to have feelings for someone that like you quote unquote shouldn't, right? Like whatever that means in whatever context of your life, right? But like how you act, but you can choose how you deal with that. You know, you can choose any number of things. And so this real victim thing is like, yeah, and then she just in her marriage too with Kyle, I mean, she just, you know, I mean, he's this way, he's doing this to me, he's always XYZ. It was never about her and what she brought to the situation and her agency and her life. And you know, even Sarah says this to her in the finale, and I talked about this on the episode with Andrew, like you're in charge of your life, like what are you gonna do, you know? And I loved that line, like what kind of life do you want, basically. And Amanda's just like, I don't know, like I guess this is the thing that's happening, you know. And it was just, she just can't take ownership and agency. And you're right, I think West is exactly the same way. They're both like just really passive in this. Like I just, this is how they
Hmm.
ended up together, like sort of passive. Like I think they were just like, okay, well, this is happening, and you know, they think that like lying somehow it's gonna somehow they're just gonna be able to keep doing that. I don't know. I don't really know what they think is gonna happen here.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of like tinfoil hat, like conspiracy theories about like what their end game was here. But I do think that like with Amanda, you're right. Like even in her marriage, and this is part of why I've always liked Kyle ever since I started watching the show. Like Kyle is ambitious, he is driven, he's passionate, and he's super emotional. And like, you know, there's pros and cons to
Yeah.
that. And I think in their dynamic, and I think we didn't see it. I think this is where I talk about like the cutting room floor. I think that there was dynamics between them going on this whole time, but the way things are edited makes it seem like Kyle is kind of blowing up and it's really disproportionate to what's going on. And I'm like, Amanda needles him. Like
Oh
she
yeah.
says all of the things to get under his skin and then he explodes and she's like, ugh,
Yeah.
Kyle, that's so horrible. And it's like, no, no. And I've always seen right through that because I don't know. I guess I'm like a pretty emotional person myself. So like I can understand what that feels like to have somebody kind of picking at you, you
Totally.
know, and how hard it can feel when you're just like a really outwardly emotional person to keep that under
Yeah.
wraps. And this poor guy is like under all this financial strain with Loverboy. And like, I don't know. It's just, she's always been really good at making him look like the bad
Yeah.
guy and she's the victim. And
Totally.
that has really led to her having nothing for herself. She has no identity. She doesn't know who she is. Hence why she's just like developing feelings for West and just being like, oh, whatever, we'll figure it out. I don't. Yeah, it's just I I I really can't wrap my head around like someone who is like mentally like sound and like confident and healthy making the decisions that the two of them have
Well,
made.
she's not. I mean, neither of them. I mean, neither of them are. Yeah. I mean,
No,
she has. I don't think she
obviously,
has
yeah.
an ounce of actual confidence in her body. I mean, she says
None.
that. She says that to Sierra. I mean, she says like, "Who's gonna like me?" You know, and they get so frustrated. That scene with Sierra and Mia, I think, was like really powerful in the finale. You know, and they were just like, if you could basically like, if you could see what we see, you know. I mean, but you know, as you know, as a therapist, like it's deep, right? Like these self-worth issues are so deep seated. And when Kyle and Amanda announced that they were splitting up, I was so happy for them. I was like, this relationship is terrible. It's been terrible from the beginning. Like Kyle has always been who he is. Amanda has always wanted something different. He you know,
Hmm.
and she always wanted him to change, but like he's who he is. He always has been from the beginning. And I think they brought out the absolute worst in each other. And so when I heard that they were splitting up, I was like, this is great. Like they can both like be their best selves and they don't have this horrible dynamic with each other. And I actually do think there were moments, you know, just throughout the show where like when Kyle wasn't there and Amanda actually like had some semblance of a personality, like she would even laugh sometimes, you know, like I mean that like did
Yeah.
happen at moments
Yeah.
throughout the show. And so but it was like when they were not, you know, together and like that last there was one weekend where she stayed behind and Kyle was like, this is the best weekend of my life. And I mean it really shows like how like a terrible, toxic, dysfunctional marriage relationship can bring out like that kind of thing. Cause I think you're right. I mean, I think Kyle's not a bad person. I think that like she needled him. She brought out the absolute worst in him. She was really mean to him and vice versa. I mean, we've seen the horrible things that he
Sure.
said to her, you know, but I think that and this is also where I question like, you know, there's that term, like monkey barring, where like you hold on, you know, you just like grab the next relationship before you let go of the one before. And I
Mm.
just like wonder at what point she was like, okay, I can see this happening with West, and so I'm gonna let this go with Kyle. Like you know, I
Yeah.
mean, I just think, and I see so many people who are in this space in relationships, they're separated, they're divorced, and they're just starting to really get confidence back and kind of learn like they can do things on their own. And you know, it's a really scary time after you like separate from a long-term partner, but like there so much confidence comes in that. And so I'm like a big cheerleader of like being on your own after a long-term relationship. And like Mia says this too. Mia said, I love that Mia's line in the, yeah, she's like, I don't go from serious relationship to serious relationship and the camera pans over to them. But I think that there's really is
Love that.
so much value. I mean, I think you can date and whatever, you know, lots to say on that. But like in terms of like getting into another serious relationship, it's like, you don't need to do this. Like, that's why when Mia was like, why, girl? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you were married and now you're a West Side piece. Like, why? And it's just like, because you have no self-worth and it's really, really sad. And it comes out in these ways that really hurt the people that are like so there for you and really care about you. And like, it's just such a
Hmm.
dangerous thing.
Totally. And to me, that fuels my belief around the timeline being like just incredibly inaccurate
Yeah.
because I feel like in my clinical experience, like when there's issues within a marriage and one person steps out, it's so easy for that person that they're stepping out with to look like the solution because they're meeting a need that's not being met in their
Yeah.
marriage, you know? And it's very obvious during the season that West is like tuning into Amanda emotionally in ways that Kyle is just not
Yeah.
doing. And so to me, I mean, West and his dating is just like a actual dumpster fire. Like, I don't even think we have time to get into that. But like, I think for Amanda, like he does look like the answer to her marital
Yeah.
issues. And I do wonder how her and Kyle ending up on In the City and what they were going to do with Summer House after. Like, I do wonder how that played into all of this. And I wonder, did they think they could keep this a secret for
Right.
longer? And, you know,
Yeah.
it would look like there was more of a gap between Kyle and West. And I don't know. Again, tinfoil hat. But like, I do think that for Amanda, West was the solution to her problems with Kyle. And unfortunately, he is far from that because he also is not like a stable, emotionally healthy person either. And now they're in Italy
Yes. I saw
at the
that.
moment.
I saw that. Yeah.
You know, and I don't blame them. You know,
I
I wouldn't want to be them in
I
America.
know. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think that like yeah, West is so passive. He's so avoidant. Like he's just so beyond avoidant that like I don't see him ever, like, breaking up with Amanda, like, unless he, like, something might happen to blow it up, but I don't see him, like, being like, "Hey, I don't think this is gonna work out."
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't do it with Sierra, like, he just finds himself in this position, like, it's like, how it's like you're down the road in things, and you're just like, "How did I get here?" Like, I don't wanna be here," and it's
Right.
like, "Well, you got there because, like, you didn't do anything to not get there." Like, it's okay to not be with someone. It's okay to not be in a relationship. It's okay to not be into someone. Like, all these things are fine. Like Carl and Bailey. I just feel like Carl's like not really into Bailey. Like, I just feel like they like each other as friends, and everybody is sort of like shipping them, if that people are still kind of using that. But
Yeah.
Carl's like, I like us better as friends. Like, I think if he were really into her, like, they would be dating. Like, he'd really be into her, right? But like, he's actively, like, not, like, he's not pursuing her, like, he's not asking her out on a date, like, they're hanging out sometimes and whatever, but it seems like he's just, like, being pretty careful not to, like, pursue her. And West is just like, "Oh, Sierra slept in my apartment, like, we're friends, like, this doesn't mean anything, nothing happened, I didn't have sex with her." And it's like, come dude, like, it's just it's yeah, it's and then he says, like, he did the right thing by, like, taking her out to dinner and telling her that he's like, can't be a boyfriend," and it's like, this already should have happened. Like, this was years ago. This round 2 never should have happened. It never should have
Right.
happened. It's on
Right.
both people. I
Right.
mean, Sierra, like, I think she got so much pressure from the house of, like, "Be friends with him, give him another chance," and the whole time I was like, You don't have to do that. Like, you just really don't have to do that." And so I hope that she, like, listens to her gut now about this kind of thing, and yeah.
Yeah. But it's that to me is part of what is so hard about being on a show like Summer House is that, like, in real life, after everything that happened with Wes, I mean, I guess to be fair, she wouldn't have been broken up with via the New York Times
Right.
if she were on Summer House, but,
Yeah.
after a relationship just, like, implodes like that, you just would never
Right,
talk to
then
that
you're on
person
the
ever again, and it would
show,
be no
right,
big deal.
exactly, then you're in a house with them, and proximity is, like, such a predictor, like, how could and, like, West's personality, and even Lindsay's like, "Oh, you're so good," and, like, apparently he's, like, incredibly charming, like, I just don't, it's
So, but I've heard that in other podcasts though, like with these like Bravo podcasts that like go to the influencer
yeah,
events. I do think he comes across as really charming. And I remember when he first got on the show, I was like, I felt
yeah,
like that
yeah,
too. But then after everything with Sierra, I was like, you can't trust this
yeah.
guy. But I think there's a little charm there. Gets me.
Well, so I have a friend of a friend who actually used to work with him. And so I have some tea on that, which is basically just like, he worked with him for years. So this is a close friend of mine who went to high school with this guy who worked with West. And basically, he was telling me that, and this friend does not watch the show. He just knows West from working with him. He doesn't know anything about the show. He's never watched an episode. He doesn't know anything going on. And so my friend was like talking to him about it, and he was like, "What's West like?" And he was like, basically said the same thing. Like, they worked together, like, he was really cool and charming and, like, kind of like life of the party, and they would go out and they would talk, and he was like this interesting, funny guy and like a good friend and blah, blah, blah. And then my friend, like, told him basically everything that had happened, and he was just like, "What?" Like, he was, like, in disbelief that he would do something like that. But remember what Dara said, like, West is great unless you're falling in love with him, and yeah, I feel like I sort of clocked this early on, like, that guy is a friend, like, he's a friend, and don't ever try to date that guy because he is so avoidant, and so, like, he's just, like, the kind of person that will do so much damage by, quote, unquote, doing nothing, and you can kind of tell, you can kind of see that early on. So it's interesting that that was corroborated
Mhm.
by someone who has no idea about Summer House.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting because you're right. When you said that thing that Dara had shared, like that he's great unless you're dating him, that is really interesting. And I wonder because part of Lindsay's argument against West is like, you're really good. You pull girls and you like climb the ladder and then you drop them. And you do wonder how true that is with both Sierra and Amanda because West told Sierra, I really resented you basically because the fans hated me because of you. And it's like, bro, no,
No.
because of
Yeah.
you and your
Yeah.
actions.
You
But he
did
can't
this.
even own
Yeah.
that. And I wonder if like I would give so much money to be able to just ask him like how he feels towards Amanda right now, you know, because is he mad that like everyone hates them? Like because his whole thing is about himself and how he's perceived by
Yeah.
others.
I do not think he's super into Amanda. Like, yeah, I just really don't.
Neither.
I think like Andy asked who initiated, and they sort of said like they were out, and West was like, "Is there something here?" But I think, and maybe like that might have happened, but I think Amanda initiated, and by that I mean like, like flirting or like leaning in or like some way of like I think about it as sort of like pre-initiation, like sort of giving like a green light. And so I
Yeah.
think that like maybe he ultimately like said, "Is there something happening here?" But I don't think he would have done that if she was not like in some way pursuing. And he's just like, well, like why not? Or like, like in the moment, or like, doesn't want to disappoint her, like doesn't want to say no, doesn't want to hurt her feelings. She's really vulnerable. Like, but I just don't see him being into her. And and she kind of is doing this like cool girl thing of like the other girl they were talking about, like she's like, yeah, we talked about, like, as if she doesn't care that like he was like, and the nudes, oh my god, the nudes. Sorry.
The wait, okay, wait, okay. I wrote that down because I was like, I need to ask you, what is the psychology behind a flash? Am I allowed to use like language on here? Like,
What?
can
Sorry,
I
I could
say what?
repeat.
Oh, am I allowed to say like?
Yeah. Oh
Okay,
yeah, I
is
think,
this like an
yeah, I
explicit?
think we're good
Okay,
here. Yeah.
okay, because I really, really want to know from your perspective the psychology behind sending flaccid dick pics. Why? Why? Who wants to receive that? Who did he intend that to go to? I need to know why.
I don't I don't think anyone wants to receive it.
No, icky.
Like, I really don't think anyone wants that. So, like, I have no idea why he did that. I mean, he must have thought someone wanted it, or someone asked. I mean, I mean, people, yeah, I cannot imagine what woman in this world asked for a flaccid dick pic. I guess we could say dick pic. I've never said dick pic on this podcast, but sure, why not?
Yeah, I was so like floored by that. And Amanda was like
She was, like, trying
kind
to
of
be,
well,
like,
she's like, let me
cool
see.
girl about it. Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
it was so gross. Even the body language, like, when she was, like, looking over, he's, like, at his phone, and she's, like, looking over, like, he was kinda, like, leaning away. Like, it was just not, like, they were not jointly looking at this thing together, regardless of the content of it. But, like, Amanda, like, it is not, you don't have to be that girl who's, like, cool with your man having sent pictures to someone, but before, like, you don't, it's okay, like, you don't have to do that. Like, you can have some standards, and like, you don't have to do that. It's cool if you're not cool with that. And like, I don't know who's cool with that, and the timing of that was epic. And Wes was like, of course this is coming out right now before we start. He's
I
like,
know.
"There."
I know. I know that it was like so crazy, but you're so right. Like she does try to be like that chill girl, and I feel like she's always been that way. Like she thinks that being a girl's girl is just being like super chill about stuff,
Totally.
but she's like really not supportive of other
No.
women at
Yeah.
all unless it benefits
Yeah.
her. And she'll like choose a guy over obviously
Obviously.
over anybody.
Yeah, I mean, Sierra, wait, there are a few things. One more on the cool girl thing. It's like the kind of thing on
Yeah.
dating apps where men will put like, I just want a chill girl. And like, this is a bit, exactly. Yeah, I roll. Like, this is a big red flag, because it really just means like, yeah, I want a girl who will be cool with me sending dick pics to other girls, or like who doesn't say anything about
Yeah.
anything and doesn't have feelings and emotions and doesn't articulate them. Like, I just want a chill girl. So like, this is like a, like a thing. And wait, what were we just getting back to?
Amanda choosing men over
Oh, yeah.
her friends.
Sierra was, like, so hurt. Like, you could just tell, like, when Andy was asking the timeline, and she was like, January 17th, she was like, "You didn't respond to my messages. I was trying to, like, be there for you. Like, you didn't wanna hang out. Like, I would ask you all the time to come and hang out, like, how you were doing, and you didn't respond to them." And, like, and Amanda got defensive, and then Sierra called her out, like, "Yeah, you responded on group chat because, like, you had to, basically." And Amanda was like, "Well, Wes was there for me." And Sierra was like, "Where the fuck was I?" I know. Sierra was such a good friend. I said this to Andrew in our last episode. Like, even just saying to Amanda, like, getting to a point where you tell your really good friend, like, "I really think you should consider leaving your marriage," is, like, a really good friend move. Like, you have to really love someone and care about someone to be able to say that to their face, and she is such
Mhm.
a good friend for doing that, and Amanda, of course, chooses the guy over, like, that type of, like, true friendship where, like, Sierra was, like, obviously really trying to be there for her, and she was really hurt. You could tell she was so hurt by that even before all this came out, like, she's just like, "Where are like, you don't want okay," And so I just it's if you're trying to be there for someone who's not letting you, like, it's a good lesson, but, like, I understand
Yeah.
why she would be so hurt by that.
Totally. But even in what magazine was Sierra in back in,
Oh,
like,
yeah, her cover came out of I don't remember what magazine it was.
Vogue or Marie Claire, like some big, like,
Yeah,
fashion, Glamour or something like that, and she even said, like, for her 30th birthday, she was having this big dinner, and, like, Amanda didn't show up, and I'm like,
fuck that.
What could she have possibly been doing besides maybe sleeping with Wes Wilson,
Totally.
where she's gonna skip her alleged best friend's 30th birthday
Yeah, fuck
dinner?"
that.
That's the kind of stuff where you go back to Amanda just like, I don't even think it's like selfishness. I think it's just when you're that insecure of a person,
Totally.
it's really hard to show up for other
Yeah,
people.
you can't. I think it's like yeah, I mean, you can't. It makes it so yeah, it makes it so difficult. It's so self-absorbed because you're so caught up in yourself, like, because 'cause you're so insecure. Yeah, it's a really, like, dangerous person to be close to. And Wes
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Well,
he just, like otherwise he'd be confident in being like, "I'm not into this," or like, it's just like, "It's okay. Like, you're allowed to do that. Be confident. Like, it's fine."
yeah. Yeah. Well, and that also reminds me of when Sierra was reading her texts from Amanda as rumors started dropping, and Sierra is texting her like, "I'm not going to be getting any photos, videos, anything like that." And Amanda is just like straight up like
Lying. She's just
lying to her,
lying.
and it's like, so she doesn't answer Sierra to go out for her birthday dinner or to grab drinks to make sure that she's doing okay. And then Amanda is like lying to her and then reaches out and says, "I'm really in my head about where we left off." You should
Yeah,
be because you lied,
right.
but you're making it seem like it's on
To, like,
Sierra
make you feel
that you're
better,
in your
to
head.
reassure
Like, it's
you.
just,
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally, totally. Those texts, wow, yeah. I mean, it just yeah, she just straight up lies, and Wes lies, and they both just lie, and, like, liars are liars, right? Like, I mean, you can say that something is small. I mean, this obviously is not, but like, just really any kind of like dishonesty. It's just like, I have clients who, they've been or their partners have been or whatever, and they try to ask, like what it means about them. And it's like, it means that they lie. That's what that means. Like, it means that they lie. And like, that in and of itself is a problem. And so it doesn't matter what someone is lying about, but the fact that people like that are capable of that just sit there and lie. Like, what else? I mean, how could each other? I mean, how could they possibly trust each other? And and the location. Oh my gosh, when they're like, you turn off your
oh my
location,
God.
and Amanda's trying to be like, can I just turn off my location? It's like, what? Like, do you
No,
think it's insulting? Like, do you
literally
think your
no.
friends are stupid? Do you think these people are stupid? Like, I would. They were obviously insulted as they should be.
And that's what was so baffling to me about Amanda's defensiveness was with every like lie and excuse that she came up with, I thought it made her and Wes look like dumber and dumber and dumber.
Totally.
Like every time she opened her mouth, like that location thing is a great example. It's like, what? I can't like just like go off grid and people need to know where I am at all times. It's like, you're telling me that that's not a suspicious behavior. Like, are you delusional?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like, and apparently she's had her location on shared with lots of people for a long time. So like all of a sudden, and like you're on reality TV, it's like all of a sudden to be like, well, can I just have some privacy? Like what? Like just come
Right.
clean. Like it just like things happen. Like you can have like things happen. Like people get caught up and like they make mistakes and they hurt people and like it just, like, come clean, like, it just like, the right thing to do
Hmm.
is just be like, "We really fucked this up," like, we don't know, like, we're really sorry, like, we don't know how this happened, like, whatever, but just, like, don't keep lying. It's like layers of an onion that just keep happening, and I wonder what is gonna continue to keep coming up. I mean, this happens a lot with, like, this kind of thing. It's like there just are layers and layers and layers to uncover about, these kinds of lies, and it's just like it's if they were really g if they really I think initially, if really they were upfront and, I mean, I think Sierra's a good friend. She's a smart, like, reasonable person. I really think, like, she wouldn't have hated her. I mean, I don't know what would have happened. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have been friends. But I think maybe
But it wouldn't have been
yeah,
this.
yeah, like, maybe she would have respected, like, the honesty and when, like, "Okay, well, good luck, the 2 of you, like, I don't really want anything part of this, but, like, thanks for telling me," and then it would be like, "Okay,
Mhm.
that's fucking weird, but at least you said something." Now they just, like, lied, and they just keep lying.
They just yes, like, the hole that they are in is so deep that they will never be able
They're
to
in Europe.
climb out of
Yeah.
it, and they're in Europe, and, like, to me, I think ahead to, like, the next season, right? That's supposed to start filming in, like, a
I
month-ish.
yeah.
I can't
Ha
imagine
I
them being on it just because, again, this is like a real friend group. Like, imagine feeling that betrayed by 2 of your friends, and now you need to live under the same roof as
I
them.
know. Yeah.
I mean, that would make me so uncomfortable because it's like, you guys at this point are capable of lying about anything, anything.
Do we know the cast?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just really for, like, their mental health, like, I mean, I just, like, hope that it's not the 3 of them and that, like, all of them in the like, that would I mean, it would just be yeah, I just don't really see that being something enjoyable to watch. I see it being really painful to watch, and I think, like, for their own mental health, like, that shouldn't happen. Like, Sierra and West and Kyle and Amanda all in the same house, like, I just really yeah, I don't know about all that. I mean, I think like you said before
Yeah.
about Wes and Sierra coming back together, like, I mean, that wouldn't have happened if they weren't back in the house, so
Right. Right. But it's like, even if, let's say, like, Wes didn't come back, but Amanda did, it's like,
yeah,
she lied to Jesse's
yeah,
face. Mia hates
yeah,
her. Carl is in this, like, really awkward position because he married Amanda and Kyle, and they're gonna be in a house together, like, that it's just
yeah,
crazy, and, like, I think that I mean, I know for me as a viewer, like, it's not that I would, like, not watch it if either of them are on it, like, I'm going to, obviously, but, like, I don't need to see Wes anymore. Like, he is giving off, like, clout
yeah,
chaser, in the words of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, clout
yep,
chaser, like, thirsty,
yep,
like, icky, doesn't
yep,
shower because he thinks it's funny. Like, I have no interest in
and I
him,
don't
like,
need
being
to
on the show. I
see
don't like Amanda. I've never liked Amanda, so I don't need her
yeah,
either, but
I was just gonna say, I don't need to see Amanda. I mean, we're seeing him on In the City, and it's like, okay, like, I don't we've seen them, we've seen their marriage. I would not mind seeing Kyle. I think he'd actually have a good time, like, that would be I would watch that. But Amanda, I don't need to see. I just feel like it would just be her, like, in her bed. I mean, what like, she would just be, like, alone in her room the whole summer.
like, everyone would
Everyone
hate
would hate
her. Like,
her.
no one's gonna
Yeah,
yeah, no one's gonna interact with her,
yeah,
so it would be, like,
yeah,
boring, you know? But that's why, like, I do like having In the City, actually, as a show because I am very intrigued by Lindsay as a mom
I
and what
love
that looks like,
watching Lindsay as a
and
mom. I love it so much.
I know it's so
It's so good.
wonderful, and then you've got Kyle and his stuff. I really would love to see Carl and
Me
Softbar
too.
on
Me
there as
too.
well,
I
like,
don't know why he's not. I mean, like, he has come
probably because of him
so
and Lindsay,
far.
right?
What
Probably because of him and Lindsay and everything that happened, right?
Yeah, it's just like he's come so far, and, like, he's got his
Yeah.
own thing, and, like, he and Lindsay seem like I loved like, she recently posted, like, Uncle Carl, like, on and I just, like I feel like that's right for them, like, friends, people are, like, wanting them to get back together, I'm like, "No, no, no. Yeah, no."
No,
Like,
no,
they're good
no,
as
no.
friends, they always were good as friends, like, it's good obviously, it's great that they didn't get married, like, I love Lindsay, I love seeing her as a mom, it's so amazing to watch. Like, I love her on In the City, and like that's everyone else I haven't really like. It's I mean maybe I just needed to give it a few episodes. Like it's fine, but I love Lindsay, and it would be great to see Carl on there too, like with his bar. Maybe next season. I mean, who knows? Enough people. I feel like enough people want to see him. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, because to me, it's like he doesn't make sense on Summer House anymore. He's
yeah,
sober. He is in
yeah,
therapy.
totally.
Like he's got soft bar. Like he clearly does fine out there. But
Yeah.
like personally, I'm just a lot more intrigued about what his life is like in the
Me
city.
too. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, and, like, now the new ones are, like, 20 something. I mean, it's sort of always been we've kind of been going this direction anyway, like, with Kyle and Amanda, and then, like, random I mean, I love all the new additions this summer, but, like, it's sort of going this direction of, like and right, and Carl's, like, he orders breakfast for everyone, like, it's like, okay, like, yeah, like, maybe
Yeah.
your energy is, like, better spent put into like your business and your life in the city and all these things. So yeah, it's been Carl. It's been great to watch him. I really, on and like well, what we've seen so far in the reunion, he's very like yeah. I just think he's honest. I mean, I think I mean, their bullshit. I mean, Amanda and West bullshit really highlights everyone else's authenticity. you know.
Yes. Yes. No, you're so right. And I think that like part of the reason Summer House has been such a success as a like show is because of how authentic it is, because of how real the friendships
Totally.
are, you know? And so when you have such just like unbelievable lies being told, it really stands out because if this were like Vanderpump Rules, like think Scandal era, that the lies there, honestly, actually, I think Tom and Raquel were probably more honest when they got
Yeah.
caught
I think you're
than
right.
Amanda
I
and
think you're
West.
totally right. Yeah, I think you're totally right. Yeah. 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 They came clean. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Amanda and Wes just aren't. And that just really stands out when you look at like everything that has happened on this show. Like think about Amanda and Kyle's whole entire relationship, Carl's addiction, getting sober, everything with Lindsay, last summer, Paige and Craig, all of that stuff that was going
Yeah.
on. You had drama with Hannah Berner back in the
Yeah.
day. Like there's just so much that has happened on this show. And now you have stuff that is just like so blatantly not true happening that it just looks extra bad.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, and I think right, seeing like the real growth from it is like really like what is so nice about watching, some of this. But yeah, when that's not happening, I mean, and it takes, I mean, I'm always like it takes these kinds of experiences to like teach you a lot of important things and, so I will always sort of stand by that, but it's hard to in the moment, it's like it's really hard to watch. It's like what is their they don't know their end game because they haven't experienced yet. Like it's like you're just going to keep lying, like you're just going to keep like okay, you're in Europe, like what are you going to do? Like but they haven't in a few years after this blows up and they are wherever they are, like maybe they'll have like learned some lessons, but right now they're just like I don't know what they think is going to happen here. But
Yeah. And I just keep thinking, obviously since I'm a therapist, I'm like, what would I do if like Amanda or Wes were one of my clients? Because I'm like a super direct therapist. It comes with being in like the eating disorder realm. Like you have to just be like super blunt or like the eating disorder wins, you know? And so like I don't even know how I wouldn't even know how to work with somebody like Amanda who just has such a narrative in her mind around victimhood and really is saying accountability, 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 but is not actually taking it because she also can't take
yeah.
feedback either.
Yeah.
Like as a client, I think that would be someone that would be really hard to work with, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that part of it is like it's almost like when Sierra said to her, it did remind me of like conversations that I've had with clients of like this direct like what do you want with your life? Like where do you think this is going? How do you think this is going to play out? What do you actually want in your life? Like how do you see this in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Like this is just going to keep happening unless and until you do something different. And like I am also a really direct therapist, but it depends of course on the my client and the relationship and who I'm actually in front of, but I have with many of my clients over the years I have that type of relationship where it feels like there's trust in it, so I can be really lovingly direct in that way. But I do, and I do sort of ask these like, what do you think, like, how do you see this going? Like, what would you tell someone in this situation? Like, how would you, I mean, to sort of give perspective of like what is your part here, and like, yeah, what is the end game? Like, you could go on like this forever. Is that going to make you happy? Is this going to make your partner happy? Like, how do you really see this? And I mean, sometimes those are tough. They're obviously like tough questions. But if people are really
Mhm.
coming to therapy for wanting to grow and change and understand and the quote unquote right reasons, then, we can have those kinds of conversations. But yeah, you're right. If there are people like, who are so stuck, but hopefully the idea is a little movement, a little understanding, like in that direction. But I mean, it can be frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right about, like, that rapport being really important because I guess when I was thinking about it, I was picturing, like, Amanda walks into
Like
my
as
office
is right
tomorrow,
now.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, and it's like, what do I even
I
do with
would
that?
just
But
be
you're right.
like,
It's like,
"What are you doing?" I would just be like, "Girl, this is."
be like, "I've watched your show. I am an apologist for your husband. I am not the fit
Yeah,
for
I
you."
would just be like, yeah, I'm like not really, I don't know that I'm not really the one for you. Like, this is not a good situation for you. I don't think Wes is it. I think you have a deep self-worth issues. And if you want to work on that, great. But also like, you can come back to me when you break up with him and we can work together. I feel like I like, that's like what I feel like that would be the vibe. I would love to work with Amanda, not with West.
Yeah, Wes to me is just
Or West, not with Amanda. Like, I
no.
just think when people are just, like, stuck in the, it's so hard when people are just, like, stuck in that, and then once they're out of it,
Yes.
then they can really see. This is why, like, transformation after divorce really
Yes.
happens, because they're like, "Oh," and they really, like, can look back. But, like, if they go from serious to serious to serious, like, there's no room to have that learning and
To
understanding.
do
There's
that work.
literally no space for it because you're so focused on the next relationship, which by definition almost can't be healthy, because like, how do you know what a healthy relationship is if you're just out of an unhealthy one? Like, you can't know that. It's just not possible unless you experience it and learn it and do it and figure it out and like take the time to think about it, so
Yeah. And especially because West and Kyle are very similar. Like
yeah.
West is like a less motivated, younger version of
Yeah,
Kyle. So you can even see little tidbits of the very same dynamic between Amanda and Kyle playing out between Amanda and West. And it's like, you're right. It would be really interesting if she actually like broke up with him and was like single. Her doing the work at that juncture would be really
totally.
interesting. But I definitely think right now, she's probably to some degree, she's probably like backed into a corner,
Yeah.
right? And she's just got like all of her like defense mechanisms coming out to
Yeah.
protect herself. And I can understand that and empathize with that. And that makes for challenging sessions for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what I'm just picturing the two of them, like, what kinds of conversations do you think they even have? Like, I just don't even see them like
Talking.
talking. Like,
Yeah.
truly.
They never look happy. In like the pictures on like Dumois, like they never look happy.
Totally. And maybe that's because like the paparazzi is like, but you're right. Like, they don't look happy. Like, they don't look like they're not engaged with each other. And like, obviously at the reunion,
No.
they're like, they're like prepared. So like, they might act differently. But again, I just don't really see the chemistry between them. Like, they were friends. Like, they were friends for a long time. Like, they're just friends. They're just like, they don't even. I just don't see them having like deep, like, emotional conversations, like, about, because I don't think either one of them are really like that. I don't know.
Yeah, because even when you watch like the Summer House season and you see some sort of dynamic between them, I don't know that I would call that
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, yeah, they like each other as friends. Like, West was like physically there for her in some ways, but also like, what does that really mean? Like, how does he really, like we were saying, like, Sierra really showed up for her in a way of like asking her questions, like being like cheerleading for her, like asking to hang out. Like, Wes is just like there, like giving her a hug and like asking if she's okay. I mean, that counts for something, but like, uh, yeah, she
I
doesn't even know what she
guess.
needs. I mean, that's the thing. She just doesn't even know what she needs because
No.
she was in this also terrible marriage for such a long time that she just doesn't even know.
Yeah. But I do think to go like full circle in our conversation, there was a part in the beginning of the reunion, before the reunion, you know, before it actually started, where Sierra apologized to Kyle for how much she misunderstood him last summer and like the role that she kind of
Yeah,
played in accidentally leading to like the big explosive
totally.
night, you know?
Yeah.
And like I just thought that was like a really in the midst of all of this crap, right? A actually really beautiful moment because I thought that was like a very genuine, heartfelt apology. You can tell that Kyle fully accepted it, forgives, is like moving on. And the grace that he's shown Amanda in the aftermath of everything, to me, is actually very
Yeah.
admirable. So there is like these glimmers of like positive relationship dynamics going on. It's just that the bad is like so bad and so ugly, you
Totally.
know?
Well, I think it does. Yeah, I mean, I think that like I mean, this is again why I was like really happy when they split up and what we've seen because they can be Kyle and Amanda, I mean, can have a different kind of relationship without the pressure of marriage and what they want from each other and how they're not getting it. You know, it's like that expectation is totally different. And like Kyle can like stand up for her in some way and check in on her. Obviously, they care about each other. They were married, of course they do. And so but that it's allowed to sort of stop there, right? It's allowed to be like, okay, how are you doing? How are you feeling? XYZ happened. Like, okay, talk to you later. Like, and not this like
Mhm.
well, if you cared about me, you would do XYZ. And, that, like, of course, comes with a marriage. So I just think, like, they are going to be better as whatever they're going to be friends who don't have to be. Like, they don't have to be friends. They don't have to interact, but they can if they want to. And it just, really, like, I think they're just going to be much better, individually and together. But Amanda's definitely got some
Yeah.
things to figure out. So.
Yeah. Like the amount of therapy needed for the summer
I know,
house
and good
cats
therapy
is just
too. I
very
mean, that's the
significant.
thing, like, good yeah, yeah, therapy
Yes.
is not all therapy is equal, and so, like,
Mhm.
people saying, like, "Oh, like, I'm in therapy," it's like, okay, well, also, like, what how is it helping you? What are you doing outside of that? Like, what are you doing differently outside of the actual room? I mean, Kyle and Amanda, of course, talked about their couples therapy, and what did they say on in this? It was like, oh, when Amanda was like, "Our therapist said, like, you guys hate each other." Yeah, I mean, it's just good for her good for that therapist because it's just this is reflecting what
Yeah.
is very obviously right in front of them.
Yeah. I was like, "Ooh, they actually have a really good couples
Yeah.
therapist," because that is the kind of like bold
Totally.
statement that like good couples therapists
Yeah,
make.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and well, to switch a little bit, I mean, KJ talking about his therapy and, like it's the idea of just like mental health awareness and yeah, I'm in therapy and it's helping and this is what, and on medication and he was saying, he's talking about how he was hospitalized and I mean the whole season he really was open about his anxiety and his childhood and like mental health issues and it just was really really sweet to see that vulnerability and I just think he's a really great addition and I'm so glad he's talking about that kind of stuff and answering the honest question of like how are you doing, the reunion is like how have you been and like aside from all this, it's like, how are you doing? And he's like, well, I went through a really rough time. And,
Mhm.
so like, it's nice to hear him talk about that. And I hope continues to be okay.
I know. I do wonder though, with like the level of stuff he has going on, if being on a reality show is
Yeah,
the best place to be.
that's a really valid. That's super valid. It's a lot of obviously a lot of pressure. And not only that, but like you're right, you're in situations that you would not otherwise be in. And that puts a lot on you. So
Mhm.
yeah, I hope he makes the best choice, for his mental health in terms of like coming back or like moving forward and being kind of in the public eye. And I hope he has a good therapist to help him and
Agreed.
other support. I mean, obviously, like there's other support, So yeah, yeah, it seems like it's tough because you get all kinds of obviously you get all kinds of yeah, yeah, you're living out loud, you're
Craziness.
putting
Yeah.
yourself out there. And so
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be really hard.
yeah, yeah. Um Ben and Bailey, we must discuss.
Dude. What are your thoughts? Tell me.
I had no idea that this was so divisive and controversial.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing, it's actually an amazing example of how perception is reality, right? Like two people, five people, 100, thousands, millions of people can be watching literally the exact same thing and have completely different interpretations of it. And I just think it's fascinating in that way to be like, to like just show that like so many people have gotten different. I do not like Ben. I did not like Ben. I thought that dinner conversation, I thought he handled that terribly. I thought he was
Yeah.
aggressive. I thought he was yelling. I thought that he initially approached Bailey with like reasonable, and she apologized quickly, and then he just kept.
Yes.
So
Kept going.
like, and
Yes.
it was aggressive and it was intense. And she obviously talks about like this bad relationship she was in, and she's, you know, sort of traumatized by that. But to me, that just people are saying like, oh, she's too sensitive. Oh, she was traumatized. I'm like, actually, maybe she learned from experience and she knows how to spot the red flags of aggressive men and doesn't want anything to do with them. So like, good for her for that. But people are just really saying that. I mean, I guess she didn't, I guess she was a little mean on the reunion, but I don't know. I just,
Okay. I was like, if Bailey's being like mean, I mean, that's like the least of our problems on this show right now.
yeah,
Yeah, no, and honestly, like the joke that she had made at that dinner about Ben wanting to sleep with Amanda,
she's
I
right.
actually, right. I was like, I don't get what's like so, I guess that maybe makes me feel like I'm like losing my mind because I'm like, what is the big deal about
Totally.
that? Because there was footage in the initial preview for the season of Ben sitting on a bed and Amanda standing with him, like putting her hands in his hair, and that got cut when they re-edited stuff.
Oh.
So I guess I was going into the season being like, oh, there's gonna be something between Ben and Amanda. So when Bailey made that comment, I was sort of thinking like she's clearly witnessed something in the very short time that she's been here so
Yes,
far that is making her
clearly.
say that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not appropriate, but like Ben took it to just like such a crazy
He got
place.
so defensive. I know. I remember I talked about this with Andrew on another episode because I was like, dude, if Kyle and Amanda were in a reasonable place and not like coming into the summer already like done and like hating each other, like there could be a world in which Bailey made that comment. If Ben was secure and everyone understands that it's okay to be attracted to somebody that is someone else's wife, like that, like people are human and have eyes, and like what we were saying before, like attraction, it doesn't mean you do something, but it's like human. It's totally human to be attracted to someone. So if everybody like was like confident and sort of understood the humanity of it, and like Kyle and Amanda were not so shaky, like there could have been a world where he could have responded to that comment like, yeah, your wife's hot, you're lucky, moving on. And like
Right.
that's that.
Totally.
But like no, like he couldn't say that that was true. He couldn't like admit that that was true. Like yeah, maybe she put him on the spot, like maybe it crossed the line, but like again, like it he took it to a level that was so unnecessary and just really intense. And people are saying like
Do you
she's
think
embarrassed
though?
because because like she had a crush. I honestly I just don't, I don't think that's it, because she was like, because she freely admitted that she had a crush, and then she was like, well, that's done. like like she wasn't hiding it, you know. So I just don't,
Yeah.
I don't. And
Oh
she
yeah.
fully admits like having saying Carl's attractive, or like that fight made her like want him, you know. She's just like saying how
Yeah.
she doesn't seem the type to be embarrassed by that kind of thing. So it,
She dressed up as a
yeah,
bush.
that was that much.
Like,
That her line in the reunion was, I had been dressed like a tree for 3 hours. I was dehydrated. That scene made
yeah,
me crack up. I loved it
that
so
was
much.
really
It was
funny.
so good.
You know, it's interesting though, as we're talking about it, I'm kind of like, what role did Amanda play in the Ben Bailey stuff? Because in Amanda's confessional, she's like, yeah, I like fed into it because who doesn't like that kind of attention? So it's sort of like, I wonder, because that was an early
Yeah.
episode, right? If there were things that Amanda had said that like either gave Bailey that idea or there was like, I just feel like this is the kind of situation now looking back where I'm like, there's an Amanda sized hole here that like
Totally.
I don't know what she did or said, but it's interesting that we have this like blow up happening and Amanda's like,
Yeah,
"What?" Cuz that's her
I
MO.
really think it probably was more about the status of Kyle and Amanda, and they were just casualties of this, which is just more evidence that, like, this toxic relationship like, is, like, insidious. I mean, it just affects everyone around you. Like, how many times this whole season have we seen, like, I mean, these horrible fights and, and, like, everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Or, like, it affects, like, the friendships, obviously, and, like, it just is, like, really, really it's hard to watch. I mean, this kind of relationship, like, have
Mhm.
this ripple effect, like, it's not just the 2 of you, and obviously not in this house, but I just really think that that actually had more to do with, like, that marriage falling apart than, like, some comment about, like, "Yeah, you wanna have sex with Amanda," and Ben's insecurity to it. And also, like, maybe Sabrina was already in the picture at that time, and so
Probably.
yeah, so he doesn't want this, like, shown of, like, he's interested in someone else. And, like, he's like, I at the reunion, he's like, "I would never," and it's like, "You would never what? Be attracted to a human being who's, like, attractive?" Like, like, it's okay, like, you're allowed you're human.
Right. Right. And yeah, the level of defensiveness was just weird. Like even in the like original
Yeah.
episode, like why would I fuck my mate's mistress? Like,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah, like, no one said you
none of
did.
this is that deep.
Yeah, like, relax. Yeah, no, I did not like that. Yeah, but it is interesting. I mean, a lot of the people are saying, like, he didn't yell, like, people are like, "Oh, if everyone was as direct as him, like, things would be better," and it's like, "Well, this is not, like, a healthy like, initially, maybe, where he's like, I felt like that was over the line, and she was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." "Okay, good convo, see you
Yep.
down there." That
Yep.
that would have been just fine.
Totally agree.
Yeah, but she really at the reunion, like, she was like, "I don't like you, I don't like how you talk to Sabrina." I also don't like how he talks to Sabrina. I mean, we only saw, like, like, a 5-second thing, but, like, you can tell a lot in 5 seconds of, like, how people talk to each other, you know?
Well, honestly, Sabrina and Ben as a couple did like nothing for
Yeah.
me. Like, I don't need to see them on my TV
Yeah.
again. Like,
Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't come back. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't have like, does he laugh? Like, do we see him laugh this season? Like, is he
no,
funny?
no.
He seemed just Australian? Maybe that was, like, the appeal of having him on?
Yeah, and summer should be fun.
Yeah, like, it was
Ben, no fun.
yeah, Ben is not fun, exactly. Yeah, Ben is not fun. Yeah. Yeah, what else? What else? Let's check our notes. What are
Let's check
what
our
are we missing
notes.
for the reunion?
Okay, wait.
Mia.
Mia.
Amazing. Love her.
Oh, what a great addition.
What a star. What a gem. What an amazing human. Thank God she broke up with Scott. That was horrendous. I mean, even before we met him, I was like, "This is terrible," and I'm so glad. And then when we met him and he was like, not I mean, and she was like, "I want a family. I want somebody who travels." And I'm like, "Well, you literally are dating somebody who travels all the time." So I'm glad that she came to her senses on that and ended that relationship, and she can hopefully, have everything she wants in life. And she talks about obviously losing her mom, and it was so touching
Yeah.
that when she went to the psychic, I thought that was so touching. I loved that.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, she was just like a really great addition, and I really love her friendship with
Mhm.
Sierra. Like, that to me is a really good example of, like, an actually strong
Yep.
female
Yep.
friendship. Like, even when, they're talking about Sierra buying her grandparents' house, and Andy asked Mia, "Why was it so important for you to, like, bring that to the group's attention?" And she's like, "Sierra does this thing where she diminishes her accomplishments." And then she looks at Sierra, she's like, "I hate when you do that. Stop
I
doing that."
love that.
Like, that was just I don't know, they just clearly, like, lift
I
each
love
other
it
up, and I
so
really,
much.
really love that.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
every friends like that, partners like that, who like lift you up and are like, you should be celebrated for this amazing accomplishment. Like, look how amazing you are. Like, you did this. Like, this is amazing, and like it was just, yeah, it was really, really beautiful. And like it was great to see Sierra, like that storyline was really beautiful, like with her mom and buying her grandmother's house. And Mia points out, like, 5 generations away from slavery, like, as a Black woman, you bought a house, and it was just really it was really beautiful and really touching, and I really appreciated it.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I would be sad if Sierra, because I know she's got Dancing with the Stars and Love Island stuff. Like, I'd be really sad if she wasn't on. Honestly, because well, like, we have a lot to follow up on with
Yeah.
her, but I really loved watching her and Mia's friendship.
Yeah.
And like, if it doesn't end up on Summer House, like maybe it's on In the City,
Yeah.
because that to me, it was like one of my favorite parts of the whole season.
Yeah. It was really great. Yeah. Yeah. And like there was sort of a world where like the two of them and Amanda were friends, you know, I mean, they both of them were there for Amanda all summer, but obviously we know how that turned out. But, you know, that was, uh, could have been a good friendship, but it was not. Someone can't handle it, right?
Yeah. I wonder what like Paige DeSorbo
Love Paige.
thinks about it
Yeah.
all, because, you know, for how many years was it Paige, Sierra, and Amanda in the
Yeah.
bed, you know? And
Yeah.
that's gotta be hard. Imagine being in the middle of
I
that, you
know.
know?
Yeah. I mean, she's been talked about, right? Like people have asked, "Oh, have you talked to Paige about it?" You know, and I think she talked about it on Giggly Squad, but
I think it was like a very like passing reference, like she usually does with like that kind of stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
I forget
She
exactly what
basically,
it
I
was
think
she
she
said, but
referenced like Sierra being her good friend, and yeah, maybe not so many words, was like "fuck Amanda," but she definitely didn't say that. I don't think. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I did miss her.
yeah.
I mean, it was, you know, but like I love Paige, so when I learned that she wasn't coming back, I missed her. But good for her for all the things that she's doing, and I was so glad she broke up with Craig because, ugh, yeah.
Oh my God. That is a topic
Oh
for
my
a whole
god,
other episode, because
I
that
know,
was some
I know.
real toxic
That was the
shit.
whole thing. Um, okay, is there anything else that we need to make sure to get to? Because remember when I was like 45 minutes and it's now an hour and 11, but this is great.
I
But I
know.
just want to make sure that we, um, oh,
Let's
what else?
we got everything on my list.
Okay. Um. Oh yeah, Mia the breaker upper, saying that she's the breaker upper, just to bring it back. She's just great. I'm so glad. Keep doing that, Mia. Keep breaking up. It's great. um. Yeah. Lindsay. You know, I mean, I'm excited for parts 2 and 3. It really is like, why are you making us wait so long and not giving us any previews? But I just, you know, Lindsay's role with
I know, I'm
like
dying.
Carl and like Bailey, you know, she's like, "Would you ever go for it?" She's like, of course, as Lindsay, she puts people on the spot and like stirs the pot a
Of
little
course.
bit. But
I do want her and Carl to be friends again. Like I saw somewhere, like someone on Threads was like, they could be like the Madison and Austin of Summer House,
mm,
where it's like they dated. Obviously, Carly and Lindsay were a little more intense because they were engaged, but like I would love a world where they could be friends. Like we said earlier, don't get back
yeah,
together for the love of God. But like they did have like a really good
yeah,
friendship for so many
yeah,
years.
yeah. I think they are. I mean, you know, I loved her. I loved her coming to his opening and getting him a gift, and you know, he got gifts for Gemma. Like, you know, so I think they're like on that trajectory, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think maybe that's it. It was all great. I mean, this episode was just phenomenal.
Amazing.
The beginning of it, I
Amazing.
mean, everything was just so good. So bravo and everyone, keep it up. I don't mean bravo. I mean like bravo the network, like bravo, keep it up. But like
Yes. Yes. No, and honestly, like when we were originally talking, I was like, I have thoughts about other shows too. And you're like, I don't know what we're gonna have
I
time for it.
know.
And you
Well,
were
you'll have
so
to come
right. Because
back, of
I'm like,
course.
we're gonna have to come back because the Valley and all the postpartum stuff
I
is
know.
a train wreck, but like also very accurate, I think. Southern Hospitality is like a gem and more people should
I don't
watch
watch
it.
it. Yeah, I mean, I trust your opinion, obviously. So
What?
maybe I need to I need to put it on the
Oh
list.
my God, it's so good. It's so
Okay.
good. It's like early Vanderpump
Okay.
without like a toxic Jax Taylor.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I would love to see Jax back. Like
Wow, that's a hot take.
as a yeah, I mean, he's sober, like as a dad, you know,
Allegedly sober.
allegedly sober, but you know, like I would like to see him if a sober dad, a sober single dad, like with Cruz on his own, like having his life and his, you know, that I would love to see. I don't need Jax as he has been on our TV. I definitely don't need that, but it would be. I would love to see, a transformation as we're seeing Brittany, and all that. Like that would be great. Ugh, we can't get into the
I
valley,
just
but
like
I did.
don't trust him.
What?
I just don't trust him.
Yeah,
Like, I don't trust that he actually can like stay sober.
yeah,
There's just something about him that I just am like, is he actually? And that season got like so dark. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I know we're way over time, but as a therapist, when reality TV gets too
yeah,
dark, like it did on the Valley, and there was like abuse, and it was like,
yeah. Well, it
ugh,
did.
then I get
Y
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I agree, and there were parts of this season of Summer House with Kyle and Amanda that I was like, "This is so dark." Like, I was like, "If I didn't know that they were over, this would be e like, it's bad enough watching it now, but if
Yeah,
they were still together, this would be impossible to watch." Like, yes, because, yes, it's supposed to sort of take us out, but, like, it is reality. It is people's lives. We are therapists, so we are dealing with people's lives lots of the time. And it's like, and it's the hard shit. Like, it's really hard, right, to hold a lot of it. And so when reality TV gets too dark, I also don't like it. So there were moments of
yeah,
the season where I was like, I hope this whole season is not Kyle and Amanda just like, but
fighting,
yeah,
like ugly fighting.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it
yeah, I'm with
did.
you.
I mean, those fights were bad. It was really dark. Like, the way they talked to each other, the way that they seriously hated each other, like, it got really hard to watch. So, again, I'm so glad that they are not
Mhm.
together, and next step is Amanda just like, "Girl." You'll figure it out.
Yeah,
She'll figure it out. Something will happen that will force her to figure it out, and,
yeah, yeah. You're so right. You're so right.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Please let everyone know where to find you. We didn't even do like a proper intro. We were just like, we need to get into this.
And I was like, we have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So, I own a practice in Maryland called Growth and Healing. So you can find me on Instagram at Growth and Healing LLC, all spelled out, all one word. So you guys can follow me on Instagram there. Honestly, I'm not super active because I have a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old, and I own my own practice, so I'm a little busy. But
Busy.
sometimes I have some tidbits on there, you know?
Amazing. But you find time for
Yeah.
your third job of reality TV watching, because it is like a job in and of itself.
It really is, which is why I'm not even getting into Love Island. Like, I would love to, but it's like 6 nights a week. I like can't do
I
that. So I'll
know.
just stick to my Bravo.
Same. I also do the line at Love Island for that same reason. Like, I'm sure I would love it, but there's too much happening.
I watched Ariana's like first season, and it was like exhausting. I couldn't do it. And I ended up not even finishing the season because I just like I could not keep up with it.
Yeah, it seems like a lot to keep up with. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we will talk again, I'm sure. Thank you so
Yes.
much for coming and joining
Thank you for having
on my
me.
favorite thing to talk about. um, oh my gosh, I did one more thing. I did pull up a photo of the cast at the reunion this morning at breakfast with my 6-year-old, and I told him who everyone was and what's going on in an age-appropriate way, of course. But I always listen to his Minecraft stuff and his baseball stuff, and I was like, "We're talking about Summer House," and he asked all the questions. He was like, "Oh, this person," and so I just feel that I needed to share that with you before we wrapped
Oh
up.
my
That I
God.
am raising a
Oh
hopeful
my gosh.
reality TV connoisseur.
Oh my God, I love that. I literally both of my maternity leaves was spent like contact napping and watching Bravo. So
It's
like
got in.
they've gotten it through
Definitely osmosis
osmosis.
for sure. Yeah, totally.
Yes, very important.
Okay, this has been Talk Relationship to Me, produced by Peach Island Productions. I'm Dr. Alana Hoffman. Do you have a question about relationships? I'd love to hear from you. Go to my website, dralanahoffman.com, and click contact, or find me on Instagram at dr.alanahoffman. You can find all the info you need, including more about today's episode, in the show description. And if you have questions or comments about Summer House, Bravo, reality TV, anything, I would love to hear from you. You could inspire a podcast topic. And until next time, happy reunion episodes 2 and 3 viewing.